Good afternoon, everyone. This is Bobby Chasnis, Director of Pure Michigan Business Connect. Joining me today is Michelle Richards, who serves as the Executive Director of the Great Lakes Women's Business Council. Michelle, thank you so much for having us there, for being here today with us.
Glad to be with you, Bobby. Thank you.
Of course. Michelle, to kick some things off, would you tell us a little bit about kind of the Great Lakes Women's Business Council and what you do for the program?
Sure. The Great Lakes Women's Business Council is 36 years old, and we are an organization that supports primarily women and minorities, but other small businesses who need assistance in growing their businesses. And so we provide small business loans, currently up to $50,000, soon to be up to $250,000. We provide women's business certification so that they can have opportunities through both the federal government and through corporations. We provide ongoing business training and counseling, and we have an online women's business community where we promote women-owned businesses through our directory. So we have quite a few programs and serve a little more than 2,000 small businesses a year.
Wow, that's fantastic. I think that's exactly what we'd like to hear. It's a lot going on, and I know that there's a lot of support going out to those businesses. So we can kind of jump right into the first couple of questions. Michelle, obviously many businesses have faced, a great deal of adversity over the course of this year. But what are some of the most prevalent challenges that you have seen businesses face this year as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic?
Well, and I was thinking about it, Bobby, because I started the organization 36 years ago and have had the fortunate or unfortunate opportunity of going through some very difficult economic downturns, including the economic meltdown of 2008 and 2009. And one of the things that's most prevalent to say is that unlike those, and that's my kitty friend, and unlike those situations with the pandemic, we did not have the warning signs. Mm-hmm. Small business owners are constantly getting the pulse of the economy, and this did not provide that. So that created a very different environment. Secondarily, little was known about the pandemic, how long it would last, and frankly, how dangerous it was. And so initially, many businesses thought that they might not make it. Mm-hmm. I heard over and over, I really didn't think I would make it. And initially, they didn't know how the pandemic would affect the market changing and changes in buying patterns and needs. And then they didn't know that they needed to plan for their business to either pivot, reposition, or condense down to a time when it could grow again. So this is a very different environment. Then that was really like phase one. That was the spring. And then businesses couldn't stand still. They needed to figure out what to do. And so we saw some extraordinary things happen that I hope I get a chance to share with you. So what transpired is that the needs in the economy changed because PPE, personal protective equipment, became number one. Personally, toilet paper became number two, and the truth is that we saw things happen that otherwise we wouldn't. For example, we have some women-owned businesses in recreational vehicles and boating. So you would have thought that would have had a really tough time. During the economic downturn of 2008 and 2009, they had a very difficult time. They are booming. Mm-hmm. They are booming now because people are not going to resorts and hotels, and they're doing things that they can, in fact, protect themselves during this pandemic. So I thought that was interesting. And what we're also seeing is, of course, the changes, which everyone knows of the restaurants, but what's happening is the kind of packaging and how it gets delivered is constantly changing. Mm-hmm. But what is similar, this is a really important note, what is similar to 2008 and 2009 is that it created changes in behaviors and needs. Now, in 2008, 2009, several really important businesses emerged, and we're going to see some of that happen again. Square, so small businesses could be a business anywhere in their car, and connected to their phone, and they can process credit cards. Groupon, Slack, which provides an opportunity for work messaging. It's an app. WhatsApp, so you can make FaceTime calls internationally free of charge, and Uber. These are all companies that came about because of that. We're going to see some of that going on, and I'm excited to see what truly emerges. What's most prevalent now is that we do not know what lasting impacts or changes will remain on our society as a result of the pandemic. And what we've seen, of course, is funding is very critical. And thank goodness for the federal CARES Act and what it provided through the payroll protection program and the EIDL loans, and through the funds that came through the state, which we were able to help to deliver, and grants. But it has been an unprecedented time, not only for society, but frankly, for Michigan small businesses.
Absolutely. And I think something that you've said, it's that uncertainty and it's that kind of unknowing of what's going to come next that kind of, propels innovation in a way. What you've said is kind of there are some positive things that come out of these times. And frankly, some of those businesses that will succeed or that will be propelled to the next level because of this. You mentioned the boating boom and outdoor recreation industries that are kind of seeing that huge surplus or that huge push to provide all of these resources or these products. It's funny, my wife and I looked to buy a bike, back in early spring, and the supply chain was shot. They had no more bikes left. So it's odd, to see where some of these threads or some of these lines are kind of taking shape and providing, more opportunities for some, but also taking away from others. If you have any other examples that you'd love to share about those, please, dive right into those.
I have some great examples of Michigan women-owned businesses that have done amazing things. One of our women automotive manufacturers that creates temperature sensors, she was creating them for automobiles, is now developing a different temperature sensor to be part of the tracking device that goes in the UPS and FedEx boxes that carry the COVID-19 immunizations. It is a sensor that ensures that the inoculations stay at the right temperature. And they've actually gone out with some of the original Pfizer immunizations that have gone around the country, and I was really proud. And they were selected because of their, from all of the sensors, many sensors around the country, because of their accuracy.
Mm-hmm.
And today, that level of accuracy is so important.
Absolutely.
And then another woman-owned business that creates retail products that are primarily retail products like bags or marketing giveaways at trade shows and so on. She creates them from recycled materials. But when this happened, she began not recycling but upcycling, and using new cotton shirts, like T-shirts and such, or polo shirts, that were created for corporations. And in the interim, they changed their logo, the logo size, color, whatever, and now they don't want them, so they've never been used. And she's converting those now into masks and is producing them here in Michigan. And the third example is another woman automotive manufacturer that was manufacturing car seat material. And when this happened, they, in just less than a week, were able to make critical changes to thin out the material they were making so they could make personal protective equipment. And they're making masks and other equipment, the shields and other equipment. And they told just an extraordinary story of a local hospital, calling them in the middle of this when they literally ran out of PPE and said, we're not going to be able to get anything for 2 weeks. And they were able to pull enough to make sure that the local hospital was okay. And I'm just so proud of these women for what they're able to do. And it really shows that, shows several things. One is that it's really important leadership skills to be able to say, my business might have to change, and it's going to change, instead of trying to hold on to the initial plan. The second is that they did not have planning time, and they had to decide what was going to happen with their employees, their company, and so on. And they rose to the occasion. It's important to have those leadership skills. you cannot go to enough leadership training, not business training, but leadership training, to ensure that you are prepared to make critical decisions that you might have to make literally on a dime for your business these days.
That's fantastic. I think it's, across the board, what I see with some of those suppliers is just resiliency, ability to innovate, and like you said, kind of that quick thinking decision making, because like you said, there's not a whole lot that prepares anybody for these types of situations, and it's critical to be able to make some of those decisions in a quick time frame, to be able to pivot and articulate how you're going to be able to do those things. So that's fantastic, and I'm really excited about those examples, and I'm proud as well. They're all manufacturers and suppliers here in Michigan that continue to do fantastic work.
Exactly.
So Michelle, we'll kind of roll right into our partnership with Pure Michigan Business Connect and the Great Lakes Women's Business Council. Could you speak to how we've partnered together to support businesses during this pandemic?
Yes. Pure Michigan Business Connect is one of our very favorite partners. They're our tier one partner because we align and work so well together. And one of the critical ways that we have been working together is making sure, my theory is you need 3 C's in business. You need capacity, customers, and capital. And one of the great partnerships is that MEDC and Pure Michigan Business Connect. We work on creating customers and bringing corporations to the table and having matchmakers. With the partnership, we had our annual conference, and we're able to set up, I think it was 174 one-on-one matchmakers with corporations, with our women business owners. But included in that were some major women-owned businesses in Michigan who stepped up to the plate and said, yeah, I want to have more women suppliers. And so that's a great way. And then the industry events that you were having, we participated to make sure not only to bring our women, to make sure they were prepared, had a strong capability statement and a deck to have those initial meetings. And so we think it delivers to the economy. It delivers to the bottom line of the state in terms of business capacity, tax base, jobs created, sustainability. It's so important.
Absolutely. And I think it's, I'll echo that sentiment. You're one of our favorite partners as well. And I think it's been such a great kind of marriage of the two programs to be able to kind of collaborate on a lot of similar type of, procurement opportunities, but also training opportunities to get women-owned businesses, but also, minority and non-minority owned businesses to get them prepared for meeting with purchasers or procurement representatives. Across the board, I think we've found over the past several years and working in this space is that not everybody is in the same spot. And so they definitely require different, preparation or information cycles to be able to, prepare properly for those meetings. So I think it's such a nice, ability to connect with your programs and continue to offer some of these exceptional programs. So I'll roll right into, the next question for you, Michelle. In your opinion, what will it take for Michigan's ecosystem to overcome the challenges brought on by the COVID pandemic?
Wow, and that is a really, really big question. What I see today, which again can change because it's a fluid situation, but what are true is that Michigan needs market analysis regarding the changing consumer needs and buying behaviors and community trends. We need to enlist our universities and that to help us to see what's going on today and to project what's going to go on tomorrow so that our businesses align. We need an ecosystem that supports businesses around them. We need to be doing business with each other. We need to build more of that Michigan ecosystem of doing business with each other. And the state has had a great campaign with the Pure Michigan campaign to get major corporations to increase their buying and be deliberate in buying from Michigan-based small businesses. Financing is going to be a critical issue because people are not going to have 2 years of good track record. So all of the traditional metrics used are going to be problematic, and because we are not going to see a economic trajectory that is a straight line coming out of this. We don't know what we're going to see. That's the truth. It's going to be hard with conventional financing. And so what we need to do is we need to have financing products, whether it's through banks, government entities, nonprofits, and so on larger scale to support businesses through this really, really difficult challenge.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think it's, you kind of hit the nail right on the head with enlisting universities and trends analysis and localizing the supply chains. I think that's certainly an avenue where PMBC can help. Businesses across the state, if you are interested in localizing your supply base or connecting with suppliers, even during the pandemic, we certainly have a lot to offer through our virtual campaigns and initiatives. Obviously, not being in person for any of these large-scale matchmaking summits for the better course of this past year, we've learned a lot and kind of pivoted our product to be able to still offer, connections during this pandemic. So thank you there. So kind of following that up and kind of closing this out, do you have any advice for Michigan suppliers for doing business in Michigan, given, the uncertainty, virtual environment, and everything that we've spoken about?
Absolutely. First of all, make good use of all the free resources that are available both through MEDC, Pure Michigan Business Connect, Great Lakes Women's Business Council, small business development centers, and other organizations that are providing assistance free. And the real key is ask for what you need. This is not a time to ask, what do you provide? This is a time to come in and say, for me to succeed, this is what I need. Let us start wrapping our services around you. Don't limit yourself to the possibilities that exist with your business. Take a look at your business strengths and start stretching your vision. This is a time of opportunity as well as difficultness. Don't labor in the problem. Focus on the solution. And enlist other people. Find out people who are making pivots. Talk to them about the pivot. Don't spend your time talking about the problems with people. Find out what they're doing right so that you can build upon it and make the business a success. And that's really difficult because we all want to complain and share our woes right now. But focus. Don't live in the problem. Focus on the opportunities.
Yes, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I think it's something that you said is, make good use of the resources and be transparent in your resource request. I think it's so many support programs are, one or two dimensional, but they can't know how else to support unless they hear it, right from the suppliers or the individual business owners. So be as transparent as possible and share that story in these requests for these resources, because many people just don't know what's going on, especially on some different levels. We can't tell totally what is, the biggest issues inside of a small business until we hear it. Well, thank you so much, Michelle. This has been a fantastic conversation. It was a pleasure learning more about the Great Lakes Women's Business Council, your industry insights, and everything that you are all doing to support Michigan businesses.
Thank you for the opportunity, Bobby, and we really look forward to working, continuing this partnership through the recovery.
Thank you so much. And thank you to everyone else who tuned in today. To learn more about the MEDC and how we can support small businesses throughout the state, please visit www.michiganbusiness.org/pure-partnership. We'll share a link post today, after this is all over for anybody to view this again. So thank you all so much. We really appreciate your time.